students. So far we have discussed various theorems, that means related to congruency, like side angle congruencies, and related to that some additional properties also we have discussed. Now after completing those congruency concepts and exercises, so let us move on to the next congruency definitions and related problems in the 7.3 exercise. So first of all, SSS congruence. What is mean by SSS congruence? As you know, S, nothing but side. So what is the side congruency statement? If you take two triangles, when you are comparing two triangles, if three sides of one particular triangle equal to its corresponding sides of another triangle. For example, I will take this ABC triangle and one more triangle by name some BEF. A, B, C and D, F. They are said to be congruent with respect to side congruency only if the corresponding side, if AB line segment is equals to D line segment and BC line segment is equals to EF line segment and CA line segment is equals to FD line segment. That means correspondency. For example, think that we have some 3, 4, 5. Just for example. So these are the three lengths of the three sides of a triangle. And similarly, this also contains 3, 4, 5. That is 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters. So they are said to be congruent with respect to side. What is the statement? If three sides of one triangle are equal to three sides of another triangle, then they are said to be congruent with respect to side. So this is the next congruency rule here. Next, last congruency rule, that is RHS. It is related to right angle triangles. R indicates right angle, hypotenuse, side. When you take two triangles, I am taking the length as like this, 6, 8, 10. Okay. These are the two. Okay, let us take just triangles for the lengths. So we know that this is the right angle. Right angle in the sense 90 degrees. It is also 90 degrees. Okay. Two triangles. PQR is one triangle and STU is one more triangle. Now here angle Q is equals to angle P because both are right angles. They are 90 degrees. Now whatever the side which is opposite to the 90 degrees, that is hypotenuse. Similarly here also hypotenuse. Suppose already we know that 90 degrees is nothing but equal. If its hypotenuse and one corresponding side also equal, so we can say that it is following the RHS congruency. So corresponding right angles, corresponding hypotenuse and the side, one side. So that is called as the RHS congruency. So based upon this, we have 7.3 exercise. Let us move on to that 7.3 exercise. So I will solve one problem. The bigger problem is the first one. Okay. So listen to that solution. After that, and 4 more problems will be there. 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to solve. Okay. In the question it is given that triangle ABC and triangle DBC are two isosceles triangles. So isosceles in the sense any two sides are equal. That means ABC an isosceles triangle. And DBC also. So according to the diagram given in the question, so DBC, this is also an isosceles triangle. So ABC is one isosceles triangle in the sense I am considering these two sides as equal. AB is equals to AC. That means automatically angle B will be equals to angle C. Base angles are opposite angles. Now coming to this interior of the triangle, I have one more point D in the triangle, interior of the triangle. So with that I have formed one more triangle, which is also given in the problem as isosceles triangle. I am considering these two as equal sides. That means automatically angle DBC and DCB will be equal. Next, on the same side of BC, and vertices A and D are on the same side of BC. If AD is extended to intersect the BC at P, show that 4 proofs we have to do. So what he has done, he has extended this AD line so as to get the more point called as P. Now this is point D, point D. This is P. So first requirement. So the solution, it is given from the diagram. Triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle ABC as well as triangle DBC. DBC are isosceles triangles. Isosceles triangles. Isosceles triangles. Next, what is our requirement to prove? First requirement to prove. What is our first requirement to prove? Triangle ABD is congruent to triangle ACD. So let us come to the diagram. ABD. What is ABD here? ABD. This particular portion we have to prove, means ABD and ACD. So we have to prove them as congruent. So what is the common feature you are observing in triangle ABD and triangle ACD? What is the commonality? So you can say that AB is equals to AC according to our assumption, because ABC is an isosceles triangle, AB length is equals to AC length. Next, what you can say? BD is equals to CD, because from the DBC triangle, and again it is an isosceles triangle, so we have seen that these two sides are equal. That's why BD is equals to DC. Next, AD being the common side. AB is equals to AD. This is a common side we are having. This is a common side. This is also one side. This is also one side. So which congruency is following? So by SSS congruence rule, we can say that triangle ABD congruent to triangle ACD. So first proof is over. Now whenever we prove, keep in mind that whatever the congruency rule it is, either it is SAS, ASA or SSS or RHS, once two triangles are congruent, that CPCQ rule will be applied. CPCQ rule. What is CPCQ rule? Corresponding parts of congruent triangle. Corresponding parts of congruent triangle. So CPCQ rule will be applicable. So in this case also it is applicable, but we will see in the last, because we have at more 3 proofs to be done. So after completing the second and third, we will come to this CPCQ rule. Okay. So second one, what is our second requirement to prove? So this is the first one. We will move on to the second one. What is second requirement to prove? Triangle ABP ABP is congruent to triangle ACP. ABP, ACP. This is P. Okay. Now, so what is the commonality? What is the common thing you are observing in ABP and the triangle ACP? Same. AB will be equals to AC. This is one side. AB is equals to AC. Next, can I say AP is equals to AP? ABP, ACP. ABP nothing but this triangle. ABP. ACP again the same triangle. But this AP side will commonly exist. This is a common side. Now again, one more thing we have to get in order to decide the congruency. Sine. One more thing. What is that? If you consider this ABP, for example, I will just tell you this one. According to our assumption, ABC triangle, ABC is an isosceles triangle. ABC is equals to AC. That means base angles are equal. Now in ABP and ACP, these two angles equal or not? Of course they are equal. So angle ABP is equals to angle ACP. So since triangle ABC is isosceles. Reason. So we have to specify the reason why we are writing these two triangle angles are equal. So now which congruency? Sine, and that means by SAS, sine angle sine. SAS congruence. We can say that triangle ABP is congruent to triangle ACP. Clear? So this is the second requirement to do. Third one. What is the third one? AP bisects angle A as well as angle B. Now, in a small statement we can analyze that one. Once ABP and ACP are congruent, corresponding parts of its congruent triangles will be equal now. ABP and ACP. What is corresponding parts remaining? BP and CP. If BP and CP are equal, P must be midpoint. P must be midpoint, isn't it? So AP bisects angle A as well as angle B. So not only P is bisecting BC. So when you are taking this angle A, according to this CBCT rule, these two sides will be equal at the same time. Since ABP and ACP are congruent, these two angles also will be equal because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. Once it is equal, I can say that AB is bisecting angle A. Not only angle A, when you consider DBC triangle also, you will get the same scenario here. Clear? So we can say that AP bisector. So third requirement to prove. What is third requirement to prove? AP bisects angle A and angle B. So what is the requirement to prove? This is the requirement to prove. So since triangle ABP is congruent to triangle ACP, this is our second proof. With the help of second proof, we are extracting the result. ABP is congruent to ACP. Once it is equal, that means BP will be equals to CP. Not only that one, angle BAP and CAP. BAP and CAP will be equal. Why? CP is equal. We have to elaborate it. In short, I am writing, but we have to elaborate in the notes. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. So once they are equal, what is the meaning? AP is bisecting. Therefore, AP is bisecting angle A and angle B. Next, fourth one. What's the fourth one? AP is perpendicular bisector of BC. What means by perpendicular bisector? It is forming 90 degrees as well as it is bisecting. Already it is bisecting, but it is a perpendicular. What do you mean by perpendicular? It is forming 90 degrees. That we have to prove. So next, fourth requirement to prove, AP is perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector. So already since a triangle ABP is congruent to triangle ACP. So we got to know BP is equals to CP. Already this step we have written the third proof. BP is equals to CP. Why? Since corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal. Not only that one, APB and APC also will be equal. APB and ACP also will be equal. That equals to 90 degrees. So it is a 90 degrees. So that therefore I can say that AP is perpendicular bisector of BC. AP is the perpendicular bisector of BC. So this is the proof we have to do. Okay. So by following these analyzations, these steps, in similar manner, we have second, third, fourth, 5 problems also. You do as a homework. Okay. Next concept, we have inequalities of triangles. So inequalities of this concept is very much useful in construction of triangles as well as in order to decide the construction of a triangle. For example, a simple question will be given. So, is it possible to construct a triangle using these measurements? I have taken these measurements 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, 8 centimeters. Is it possible to construct a triangle with these 3 measurements? Is it possible? How to do? How to tell that whether it is possible or not possible? So we have some inequality rules or inequality properties of triangles, which states that sum of any two sides, that means if I consider A, B, C are the 3 measurements of the triangle, sum of any two sides should be greater than the third side. A plus B must be greater than third side, or B plus C greater than A, C plus A greater than B. This is the first one. First one. Sum of any two sides should be greater than the third side. Second one, the difference between the two sides should be less than the third side. Difference between two sides must be less than the third side. Difference between two sides should be less than the third side. Difference between two sides should be less than third side. This is the second property. Using these properties, you will decide. Let us come to this example now. Is it possible to construct a triangle with the help of these measurements 4, 4 and 8? Let us go with this first rule. I will consider first one as 4, 4, 8. So just to substitute ABC values and then decide. 4 plus 4 greater than 8. 4 plus 4 how much means 8 greater than 8. Is it true? Is it true? It is false. It is not satisfying that condition. Next, B plus C. 4 plus 8 greater than 4. Here it is accepting. Here it is true. Here it is not accepting. It is accepting the rule here. And the third one, C plus A. 8 plus 4 greater than 12 greater than 4. It is also true. That means you have to check each and every case of this condition In order to decide the construction of possibility of construction, if any one of these cases is not satisfied, you can say that it is not possible to construct the triangle. So here I got one case which is not satisfying the condition. That means with these measurements I cannot construct the triangle. The same type of conditions can be checked in the case of a second rule. What is that one? Difference between two sides should be less than the third side. Okay, so here modulus I have taken because length cannot be negative. Okay, so that's why I have taken the modulus symbol here. So overall, this is the first condition we have in the inequalities. After this, we have the relation between the sides as well as the angles. What is that one? The next one is that if you take any triangle, for example, consider this one as the triangle. Consider this one as the triangle. The next property of inequality says that the side opposite or the angle opposite to the longer side, the angle opposite to longer side is largest angle. What's the meaning of that? The angle opposite to the longer side. So among these, which is the longer side? 12 centimeters. So to this 12 centimeter, whichever the opposite angle is there, it will be compulsorily largest angle. And also we have the angle opposite to shortest side is shortest angle. Shortest side is 4, so this opposite angle this one. If I consider ABC as the triangle, ABC vertices, now angle A will be greater than angle B, but angle is the largest and angle B is the smallest. But between these two, one more angle will be there, angle C. That means I can arrange the angles like this. Angle A will be greater than angle C and it will be greater than angle B. Now one more converse property is there. What is the converse property? Regarding the side. The side which is opposite to the largest angle. The side opposite to the largest angle is longest. The side opposite to the largest angle. Largest angle in the sense, for example, consider one triangle. I will take right angle triangle here. A, B, C. This is 90 degrees. Now consider some 30 degrees and 60 degrees. Now which will be the largest angle here? 90 degrees. So 90 degrees. To this, what is the opposite side? AC. So AC is the largest side. That means what is AC? Hypotenuse. In right angle triangle, always this hypotenuse will be greater because it is opposite to the largest angle. So if you take the arrangement of the relation between the angles and sides, I can write. Now according to this one, angle B is greater than angle A is greater than angle C. So with respect to sides, angle B is opposite to which side? AC. That means AC line segment will be greater than. To this angle here, what is the opposite side? CB or BC. So BC and greater than angle C opposite side AB. So I can make the arrangement once I know the relation between these two. So that means angle B will be the longest angle, shortest angle. Longest side, this is angle, and this is the side, and this is the shortest side. Based on this also, so many proofs are there in 7.4 exercise. Some problems are there. Let us do that. Next, exercise 7.4. From the figure, it is given that angle B is less than angle A. Given angle B is less than angle A, and angle C is less than angle B. So we have two triangles here. If you see the figure, angle B, angle A in triangle OAB triangle, and OCD triangle, angle C is less than angle B. So based on these two statements, we have to prove that this AD is less than BC. This AD is less than BC. Now we consider this equation as inequation. I can say inequation. I can take it as inequation. You can take this inequality as equal. That means the first one and second inequality from 1. So based on the properties that we have discussed earlier, what can you say the relation between the angles and the sides of this particular triangle? Since angle B is smaller, then of course OA will be corresponding angle. Okay. So from 1, we can write that OA less than angle A. To this angle A, what is the opposite side? OB. I can take this inequality as third one. Next is second inequality. Angle C less than angle D. Angle C opposite side OD. Less than angle D. Angle D opposite side OC. So, if I add these LHS part and RHS part of inequality, what will happen? OA plus OD. OA plus OD will give us AD. So, again less than itself. OB plus OC. OA plus OD nothing but AD. OB plus OC nothing but so what is our requirement to prove? We have to show that AD less than BC. AD less than BC we got. So hence proved. So this is how you have to use the relation between the angles and the sides, especially regarding the inequalities. So we have to understand the problem, what is the requirement, what is the given data you have to analyze. And you have to analyze the data and you have to connect it to the given concept. So that is how you have to do it. So fewer problems are there in this exercise. You follow those problems based upon the same concept.